Influence. In his work, Andy Buck debates the notion of influence and its importance for leaders. In any leadership or management role, we are reliant on others to perform our duties. We cannot do everything ourselves. Therefore, we need to be able to influence others. As both Pendleton and Radcliffe suggest, we need to be able to motivate and enthuse people to follow us to achieve the organisational goal that we are striving to complete. For example, if you're looking to implement a new piece of IT software to support the pastoral function of the school or for tracking student academic progress, you will need investment from a number of staff. How you influence staff will have a direct impact on the effort and motivational levels of those tasked with implementing it at an organisational level, and thus the potential for success. Middle or junior senior leaders may also need or want to influence external stakeholders, i.e. people not in their direct team, but whose decisions will impact their work and working conditions. For example, you may wish to influence the decisions being made at a whole institutional level regarding the approach to, say, addressing mental health concerns of students, or a new process regarding risk assessments for trips and residentials, as ultimately the decisions made on cross-establishment issues will impact and affect your team. Degrees of influence. Those who you directly line manage are, to a certain extent, under your management control and can be influenced in a command or coercive manner. There may be people who are not directly line managed by you, but who you can directly influence through a cross-establishment role, maybe such as year group lead or pastoral lead. Then there is indirect influence, where you need to influence through others and those with whom you have no influence. As you ascend the hierarchy of management, your potential to influence can become more indirect, as you may only have communication with some individuals through others that you manage. Therefore, it is important to understand your direct staff's ability to exert influence on others and decide when you need to take the lead with regard to influencing certain decisions, as depending on their style, approach and ability, the results may differ. Understanding these influence concepts can assist in making a leader's role more efficient and effective by reducing energy and saving time. How you approach how you are going to influence others depends on the individuals and the situation in question and your own skill set and attributes. Knowing the context and environment is key, as it will allow you to select an appropriate technique to adopt. There are infinite ways and techniques to influence people. In fact, we could probably do a whole module on it. But here are a few key principles. And what we do in the workplace is no different to what we do at home with our friends and family. And think about a time when you've wanted something. How have you approached it? For example, it's a Friday and you don't really want to cook after work. How do you approach persuading your partner, your spouse, your housemate, etc., that a takeaway is the way forward? Often, accepting someone else's idea, perspective or strategy takes time, and you often need to allow people to come to a conclusion in their own time. Planting seeds in people's mind and allowing them to grow and flourish is quite often a useful strategy. By illustrating a benefit for them, this often aids influence as well. This may be something of benefit or something that's preferable, or it may be to ensure the avoidance of pain. Which approach you take will depend on your knowledge of the individual as to whether they are motivated by the need to achieve or the need to avoid failure. There may be some kind of reciprocal agreement where benefits are mutual. I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine kind of arrangement. And this can be a very powerful technique, influence technique, but can also be contentious if someone takes umbrage to this approach due to moral or ideological values. Often there will need to be a compromise so that all parties have an input into the resultant strategy or outcome. For the takeaway example, it may be that the other party agrees not to have a home-cooked meal as long as they can choose the takeaway. Choosing who to influence can also be key to a successful outcome. Who holds the key to influencing others is an extremely important factor in choosing who to influence directly yourself. Again, in our takeaway example, is persuading your children a good use of your resource? Will they hold sway over your partner? Will they turn the tide in your favour by exerting pressure? or do they hold no influence on power at all? Will they actually make the situation worse for you and lobby for a different option? All critical decisions that you need to make. Results of attempts to influence. Bodie in 2017 suggests 4 essential outcomes can arise when we try to influence people. They either resist and actively avoid carrying out the request. They comply, but with minimal enthusiasm. They comply actively due to identification with you as an individual, or they comply actively as the request is consistent with their internal values. Managing up. All thoughts of management have so far assumed that we are leading our staff or colleagues. However, we also need to manage up. Now, this isn't an underhand thing necessarily, but the notion of having a productive relationship with superiors where you can offer honest thoughts and perspectives to help achieve mutual goals and objectives is important. It's often about influencing your managers to ensure that they have the key facts to be able to make informed decisions about strategies, processes and initiatives that you wish or need to pursue. Also, you can support and assist your manager if issues or concerns arise by offering solutions. Here, you can reduce their cognitive workload by presenting potential solutions at the same time that issues present themselves. That way, they potentially only need to choose between options rather than conceiving ideas themselves. Here, they can debate from a different perspective and contemplate from a more advanced position, potentially resulting in a more timely resolution of an issue. If you think of it from the other side of the coin, how nice would it be if your direct line managers came to you and did that for you? For further reading on influence, please refer to chapter 14, particularly pages 444 to 452 in Bodie's work, Management and Introduction, the link to which is on the Moodle page below.